being worthless.
Oh. Like, when people bullying, they say that for real. Because, when on the internet, when these people are, depressed and stuff like that, and it's all because they're getting bullied, they think that they're worthless. So, these things, aren't new. They are from the Bible. Oh, and we are going to John chapter 19, verse 1. Through 11.
Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scourged him.
And the soldiers plated a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put on him a purple robe.
And said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands.
And Pilate therefore went forth again and said unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him.
Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man.
When the chief priests, therefore, and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him, and crucify him, for I find no fault in him.
The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God.
When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid.
And went again into the judgment hall, and said unto Jesus, Whence art thou? But Jesus gave him no answer.
Then saith Pilate unto him, Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee?
Jesus answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he that delivereth me unto thee had the greater sin. Wow.
Verse 12.
And I think Acacia wanted to say another testimony.
When I was in K5, right? I went to school and I carried a black rubber band with me, right? So this girl, she was like a bully to me. Like, she always used to bully me for no reason. And she was like, I was like laying my head down and they told us to sleep, right? It was time to nap, right? So she was like just laughing around with her friends, and she wasn't even caring what the teacher say. But I was trying, but I can't, but I don't sleep in the day. So she just was like, give me that rubber band, right? So I say, why? So she just yuck it out my hand, and then I just cried. So I was like, in my mind, I say, what you did that for? And like, I was really young. Like, I was probably about 4 or something.
I think the most reason why children usually bully is because some of them actually grow up in like abusive homes, and they're dealing with their parents always yelling at them and in a sense bullying them, and so they want to do that to other children.
I think it's also their personality, to tell you the truth. Because some people just raise that way. Some people, like Ellen White talks about how as a child you develop into the childhood is when you developing your character and stuff, and then like when you that kind of person you become, that's just your personality and stuff.
A study also showed that
and that personality can be changed.
Yeah.
Continue.
A study also showed that before you develop, you're actually like, you have the lowest sympathy, like as a child. You don't really have that much sympathy as a child. So that's kind of like that. You can't really like So when you're bullying someone, you can't really think about what if that was you getting bullied and what would you do.
I remember in Proverbs, it says, to train up your child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it, I think. So that's basically saying that however you raise your child, he will act that same way as a man, I guess.
And I just remember, like, some people think that when they get bullied, they should always fight back. Like, violence isn't the right thing to do. When you, like, how it says in the Bible, turn the other cheek, like, I wouldn't advise you, like, to actually literally do that if you're getting beat up by a gang of people. But if there's one person, you should run. Like, you shouldn't just stand there and, like, get beat up or whatever. But you should run away and, like, try to find a teacher or something. Because if the teacher's there, if the principal is there, they probably would not beat you up. But you could, like, run in a class or something like that. But I don't think you should, like, when you see a bully, you should just, like, try and fight them back. And it just turns out into all fighting situation, then the two of you might get expelled from school. Like, God doesn't want that for us. We should, and if the bully is trying to rile us or anything, that, like, he should try and what's the word? You should, like, try and witness to them at the same time. I know it might be hard, but it's worth the try. And if you're seeing someone getting bullied, you shouldn't, like, be happy about it, even if it's someone who you don't like, or, like, not say anything, because that'd be, like, their blood on your shoulders, because you're the Christian. You should know the right thing to do.
There's a verse.
I actually saw this video before where this kid was getting bullied, and he got punched, and the boy actually stood up to the bully and actually, like, body slammed him on the ground. And the boy who was bullying him, he actually almost couldn't stand up, and everyone was just praising the boy who body slammed the bully and was just sending death threats to the person who was bullying the boy. And they never actually thought about how the bully actually felt when he got body slammed. He got body slammed right on the ground.
I think that when, like, if you're a bully and it's like a group of people, after they bully the person, like, if they walking in the hall and they just throw their books on the ground or something, they would, like, just slap each other 5 or say or laugh at them, so they really think they're cool when they're doing that.
There's a verse in Ephesians 4 verse 32. We could go there. Okay, and be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. And that last part where it says, God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you, Jesus on the cross said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And we have to have that same attitude, basically.
And while he is thinking about what he wanted to say just now, we could go to Acts chapter 7. Acts chapter 7, verse 56. This is when they're talking about when they're stoning Stephen. Acts chapter 7 verse 56, and I'll just read on. And said, Behold, I see the heavens opened, and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God. Then they cried out with a loud voice, and stopped their ears, and ran upon him with one accord, and cast him out of the city, and stoned him. And the witness laid down their clothes at the young man's feet, whose name was Saul. And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God, and saying, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. And he kneeled down, and cried with a loud voice, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. He died that same time. And, with this, that was, in our days, you would say that as bullying, but with a gang. Because there was no way he could get out of it. I think I asked him the question before, do you think that, or someone asked this question, do you think that Stephen could have run or tried to break free out of the crowd that was suing him? And they was back in them days, they weren't stoning them with pebbles or these little rocks that we see. It'd probably be half of a concrete, those huge rocks they'd be stoning them with. And it was about 30 men just stoning one man with these huge rocks. And I found this in this quote in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 10. At this, priests and rulers were beside themselves with anger, acting more like beasts of prey than human beings. And this is actually the priests and the rulers who were stoning Stephen, not even just regular people. And they were supposed to be the Christians of that time, but they were hypocrites. And it says, acting more like beasts of prey than human beings. And when they are, and if you notice, these people in these bullying states, they don't really be themselves. Especially if they're not the main bully for the person, if they're just the follower with the main bully, in the school, they would be said lagging behind or whatever. They won't act like themselves. 1 minute you would build them, they'd be really nice, and then when they're trying to bully you or trying to act like the main bully, trying to fit in or whatever, they'd be acting very different. And to continue to say, they rushed upon Stephen, gnashing their teeth in the cruel faces about him. The prisoner read his fate, but he did not waver. For him the fear of death was gone. For him the enraged priests and the exciting mob had no terror. The scene before him faded, for his vision to him the gates of heaven were ajar, and looking in, he saw the glory of the courts of God, and Christ as if just risen from his throne, standing ready to sustain his servant. In words of triumph, Stephen exclaimed, Behold, I see the heavens open, and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God.
Something, the part about animal and the beast kind of a thing, right? You wanted to say something?
Go.
I know in anger, it's you lose control of yourself and stuff.
Yeah, you act more like an animal than a person.
You feel you don't care about anything, but you just want to kill the person and stuff.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
This girl who used to be my friend, she said the exact thing. She would be she was so angry to the point she doesn't care and she just want to kill the person, those exact words. And I'm how could you even think like that? Because I'm not I'm not the type of person to be getting angry or whatever, so I didn't really understand that. But I'm it isn't that serious to actually want to kill someone just for
I've actually
one little
had
thing.
Anger before, and you feel nothing, you don't care about anything at that time, and you just want to do whatever to get that person out of the way and stuff.
And that's the devil jumping inside you, because Jesus wouldn't have that kind of attitude. So if you feel like that, to the listeners and to us, if we feel like that, then we should just pray it away. Because that's actually a temptation. And if we use the temptation, then we would actually end up fighting the person.
And like you said, when you get to the extent that you really don't care, that you would want to kill the person, nowadays when someone see you fighting, if there's not a responsible adult around or a responsible teenager around, they just let you keep fighting until someone end up dying.
Record it.
Yeah, they'd record it, post it online, and someone gonna end up dead if they don't stop the fight. Like, you just